Hi YouTube. So I'm currently frustrated with a creative project of mine and I felt like I need to get something productive today, so maybe doing a video would make me feel like I had done something productive. So that's what I'm gonna try. I talked a fair bit about being an INFP on my channel, but now I want to talk a little bit about my perspective of myself being an Enneagram type 4. Because yeah, I really resonate a lot with this personality type. Although I have to say a lot more in my past since compared to now. Since the last few years, I've been a lot more aware, become a lot more self-aware. A lot of the things that I was doing, I've kind of dropped because I realized that they were unhealthy ways of operating in life. So I'm going to kind of talk a bit about those. I mean, some of these, immature or unhealthy ways of operating I still hold on to, and they still kind of cycle back into my personality when I'm feeling stressed or bored or whatever. But anyway, I will just talk about a few things here. So the first thing, I guess, that made me realize that I was a type 4, very likely, is I've always had fantasy, well, not always, since I was probably in my early teens, I've had fantasies of being known for some kind of creative work. Yeah, so very common. Type 4s are basically the artists, the individualists. So they're very, self-absorbed, and they feel like these descriptions are always negative, aren't they? They don't have to be, but we can is self-absorption necessarily a bad thing? Doesn't have to be, does it? Okay, anyway, they tend to be self-absorbed, and they really want to share what they find within themselves with the world. And they think that, frankly, they think that they'll be good at it better. They can do this better than, how most people can, like, I know, I listen to the radio often, or when I listen to the radio, I'll often hear songs, and I think, I could my songs are better than that, I could write a song better than that, these lyrics are dull, this melody is predictable. Well, not really so much the second one, but, I think things like that, but then, I feel like I could do it better. I feel like I could do more original, but then this is not really related to who I'm talking to, but I never really get around to doing it, so never mind. But anyway, that's like just a typical way of thinking, I think, for the type 4s. They feel different, they feel special, or at least they feel like when it comes to creative work, they really have something that could be good. They could do something, they could do that kind of thing well. Okay, yeah, so I started writing songs when I was 15 or so, and yeah, I used to have intense fantasies of, being a singer-songwriter, but, here I am still struggling, trying to actually get an album together. Anyway, type 4 problems. Well, procrastination is a problem, I'm sure, for any type, but yes, relevant here. Okay, another thing that has reoccurred in my history time and time again is in periods of, I actually wrote notes trying to make this a bit speedier. In periods of environmental stagnation, I have the tendency of dreaming to be saved by some kind of a romance, by a true love, or somebody basically who will, cure your boredom with life, in an easy way. You don't have to go out and be proactive. They find you and they make it all better. It was really embarrassing to talk about, even though I know lots of other people have these exact same experiences and thoughts, but it's still embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah, and so not only to cure this, you don't just dream this person to cure your boredom, but also to, see you as you really are, because you feel like so few people can really see you, and I'm not going to get into whether or not that is actually true. More likely it's just probably people see you, but they don't focus on the parts of you that you wish other people focused on, maybe. They don't enhance the part of you that you think is your most interesting part or something. So people see you. I don't know. Actually, I'm just making shit up right now. So yeah, that is a type 4, as a common type 4 fantasy. Yeah, being saved by true loves. And I mean, you pair that with the INFP, personality who tends to, at least in their younger years, be a bit of a, romantic, an idealistic romantic. It's just a recipe for disaster, for just insane fantasies. Yeah, I mean, I started getting these romantic fantasies honestly when I was so young. Like I remember in grade 3, I would have like longing. I would long for boys, like for year-long cases of romantic longing with boys I didn't really even have a relationship with. Like we were just friends or something. But I felt like it should be a lot more than that. And yeah, and it would just torture me. And I was so young, and I can't believe it. Looking back, I can't believe that that kind of stuff was on my mind and was bothering me when I was, how old are you? Like, I was like 10, maybe 9 when it began. 8? Like, that's strange. I think that's a type 4 thing. I really do. Just so emotionally precocious, maybe, so emotionally serious from a young age. Yeah, it's weird to think about now. Yeah, just focusing on what could have been with somebody, that you barely even knew. I mean, my problem also was I was very shy when I was younger, and so in many cases I probably would have actually had good relationships with these boys who I longed after, but I was always too shy to let them know who I was, so I could see them clearly and be like, oh, our personalities would really jive. But of course they didn't know me because I never opened up, so that's where a lot of my longing, quiet suffering and longing came from. But yeah, not a healthy way of living your life, obviously. And yeah, I think unhealthy for us and really get stuck in that cycle. Yeah, but you need to learn to break out of it and be more proactive in your life and be more realistic about your relationships, of course. Okay. Another quality I had a lot when I was growing up, adolescence. Always trying to figure out who I was, but I always was doing this in relation to others. Specifically, I wanted to be what others weren't. Sorry, I feel like somebody's coming and this is embarrassing. I don't want them to know I'm talking about this. But yeah, so you're always saying I'm not like them, I'm not like that, I'm not like that, rather than maybe trying to figure out what you are like, or I feel like it's like you can get into this really like cynical cycle of trying to find your identity, or this cynical process of trying to find your identity and who you are. But in doing so, it's cynical in that you're putting way too much meaning on like superficial things. At least I did. Like I remember I went through a stage in high school where I was like, I'm not wearing makeup anymore. Makeup is so superficial. I mean, I'm gonna be a philosopher and I don't care about looks. And like that's like it's so stupid that. I mean, I was judging girls for, wearing lots of makeup, and I thought I was somehow better than them for not wearing makeup, but it's just a personal preference. And obviously, I've carried on that preference, but I don't, I mean, it's meaningless. What you want to do with your face, how you want to wear your hair, and stuff like that, it's just, it's so superficial, and you can't build a personality out of that, it doesn't mean anything. But yeah, so my identity finding process was often negative, very cynical. I had bitter judgments or harsh judgments about other people. Yeah. I think this is a type 4 thing. I've noticed other type 4s online. They're always trying to emphasize their personality in relation to others. When really that's kind of an unhealthy thing to do. I mean, you should just, be who you are, and if you happen to be like someone else in that respect, then cool. If not, that's fine too. It's that search for individualism, to be a unique personality that can make, I think, type 4s go into that like cynical identity-seeking process, prideful process. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm sure I have a lot of other things, but those are just the ones I wrote down, so maybe I'll do a part 2 video sometime on what it is like for me to be an Enneagram type 4. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.